Listen closely. The moment you stop chasing and give yourself space to breathe, you start to rise. When you step back, people feel your absence. You don't need to be everywhere, proving your worth. You just need to live in your truth. Here's the thing. When you're not around, people start to realize how much they've taken you for granted. Your value goes up. Your time is your most precious asset. It's the one thing you can never get back. Every second you spend is gone forever. Yet so many people give it away like it doesn't matter. The way people treat your time depends on how you treat it. If you're always available, always saying yes, and bending over backward for everyone, they'll assume your time isn't valuable. They'll think you have nothing better to do than cater to them. But that's not who you are. Your time is priceless, and it's time to start treating it that way. When you give your time away too freely, you teach people to expect it. You show them that you'll always be there, even if they give little in return. This isn't because they're bad people. It's because you've set the standard. Without meaning to, you've made it easy for them to interrupt your day, bring you into their problems, or ask for favors without considering your needs. This is why boundaries are essential. They're the foundation of self-respect. Without them, you invite others to take advantage of you. It's tempting to always help others because it feels good to be needed. But ask yourself, if you're constantly giving your time to everyone else, what's left for you? What happens to your dreams, your goals, your peace of mind? They get pushed aside. And before you know it, you're drained, wondering why you feel unappreciated. Not everyone deserves access to you. Your time is a privilege, not a guarantee. It's okay to say no. In fact, it's necessary. Saying no doesn't make you selfish. It makes you wise. It shows that you respect yourself and your time enough to prioritize your needs. When you stop giving your time to people who don't value it, you create room for those who do. You attract relationships and opportunities that match your worth. Take a moment to think about the people you give your time to. Are they giving back to you in the same way? Or are they just taking and leaving you feeling empty? It's not wrong to want balance. It's not wrong to expect your energy to be reciprocated. If someone doesn't value your time, they don't value you. So why are you still giving them access to your most precious resource? When you start valuing your time, people notice. They realize they can't just expect you to drop everything for them. They respect your boundaries, and in turn, they respect you more. They'll be more mindful of your time and treasure the moments they get with you. Your absence will make them appreciate your presence. This isn't just about relationships with others. It's about the relationship you have with yourself. When you stop giving away your time carelessly, you can reclaim it for the things that matter to you. You can invest it in your growth, your passions, and your happiness. You can use it to build a life you love, instead of spending it trying to please everyone else. Think of your time like a bank account. Every second you spend is a withdrawal. If you're not careful, you'll end up overdrawn with nothing left to give. But when you start being intentional about how you spend your time, you'll feel more in control. You'll have more energy, focus, and joy. Don't be afraid to set boundaries or disappoint people who expect too much. Your life isn't about meeting everyone else's expectations. It's about fulfilling your own potential. The right people will respect your need for space, and those who don't, they were never truly there for you. Valuing your time doesn't mean cutting people off or being selfish. It means being thoughtful. It means understanding who deserves your time and who doesn't. It means choosing what aligns with your values and goals. Say yes to the things that matter and no to the things that don't. This transformation won't happen overnight. You've likely spent years, maybe even decades, giving your time away without a second thought. Breaking that cycle will take effort and feel uncomfortable at first because you've been conditioned to prioritize others over yourself. But every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to yourself, and that's incredibly powerful. Some people might not understand right away, They may call you selfish or accuse you of changing. Don't let their reactions shake you. Change is a natural part of growth. And those who truly care about you will eventually see the value in your choices. They'll realize you're not just reclaiming your time, you're reclaiming your power. Remember, your time isn't just about hours in the day. It's about your energy, focus, and attention. Even if you're physically present, if your mind and heart are elsewhere, you're not truly giving your time. That's why it's essential to be intentional about where you direct your energy. Don't spread yourself too thin. Invest in the people and activities that inspire you, make you feel alive, and align with your goals. When you start treating your time as the precious resource it is, you'll notice a shift, not just in how others treat you, but in how you treat yourself. You'll feel more confident, more in control, and more fulfilled. Instead of feeling like a victim of other people's demands, you'll feel like the architect of your own life. This is your time, your one shot at life. Don't waste it on people who don't see your worth. Don't give it to those who don't value it. Use it to build the life you want, to pursue your dreams, and to grow into the person you're meant to be. Because in the end, your time isn't just a resource, it's a reflection of your self-worth. Treat it with the respect it deserves. There's something powerful about stepping away and putting space between yourself and the people or situations that once consumed your energy. It's not about punishing anyone or seeking revenge, it's about creating clarity. When you step back, you create a void that forces others to confront your absence. In that absence, they begin to realize what they've taken for granted. They start to see the impact you had, the things they didn't appreciate, and the space you filled that they never fully acknowledged. Distance not only reveals your value to others, but also teaches you truths about them. When you step back, you give people the chance to reflect on how they treated you. Were they dismissive? Did they overlook your contributions? Did they assume you'd always be there no matter what? These realizations become stark when your presence is no longer a given. What they once ignored or took lightly becomes glaringly obvious, and regret often follows. They begin to understand that your presence was never just a given, it was a gift. When you're always available and giving, people can become complacent. It's not necessarily that they don't care, it's that human nature often leads us to take for granted what feels constant. But when it's gone, even briefly, everything changes. That's when people start to notice the silence, feel the void, and miss you. Distance has a way of amplifying your worth in ways constant presence never could. This isn't about playing games or manipulating emotions. It's about respecting yourself and allowing others to do the same. Sometimes stepping back is necessary for your own peace of mind, to recharge and focus on yourself. In doing so, you also give others the chance to truly see you. And they will see you. They'll remember the love you gave, the support you offered, and the sacrifices you made. They'll recognize the energy you poured into them and feel the weight of your absence. The beauty of distance is that it shifts the dynamic. When you're always there, people can begin to assume you'll always be. They may start to feel entitled to your time and energy, but when you step back, you disrupt that pattern. You remind them that your presence is a choice, not a given. You show them that your time and attention are privileges, not guarantees. In doing so, you elevate your worth in their eyes. Creating distance isn't always easy, especially when you care deeply about someone. It can feel counterintuitive, even painful to step back from people you love or situations you've invested so much in. But sometimes, the most loving thing you can do for yourself and for them is to create space. Because in that space, growth happens. You grow by reclaiming your energy and focusing on your own needs. They grow by learning to appreciate you in ways they may not have before. Distance also has a way of revealing who genuinely values you and who doesn't. When you step back, pay attention to how people respond. Do they reach out and make an effort to stay connected, or do they let the distance grow, revealing that their interest was conditional or surface level? It's a hard truth, but one worth knowing. The people who truly care will notice your absence and work to bridge the gap. Those who don't, they were never as invested as you thought. Letting people miss you teaches an important lesson. Your value doesn't diminish because you're not always present. If anything, it grows. People begin to notice the weight of your presence, the contributions you made, and the unique role you played in their lives. When they realize it, they're often struck by the depth of what they've taken for granted. Stepping back also gives you a new perspective. When you're too close to someone or a situation, it's easy to ignore red flags, excuse behavior that isn't good for you, or hold on to unrealistic hopes. Distance provides clarity. It helps you see things as they are, not as you wish they were. You gain the space to assess your relationships and decide if they're worth continuing to invest in. Not everyone will understand or appreciate your need for space. Some might react with confusion or frustration, especially if they're used to having constant access to you. But that's their issue to handle, not yours. Choosing to step back isn't about them, it's about you. It's about protecting your peace, honoring your time, and prioritizing your well-being. If someone can't respect that, it reflects their limitations, not yours. Sometimes, distance can lead to stronger relationships. When people recognize your worth in your absence, they may return with a deeper appreciation and respect. They'll value what you bring to the table and be more committed to honoring it. But even if they don't, even if the space becomes permanent, you'll know you made the right decision. Relationships that are meant to last will withstand the distance, while those that aren't will naturally fade away. Remember, stepping back isn't about proving a point or teaching someone a lesson. It's about recognizing your value and knowing that it doesn't depend on how much you give or how often you're around. Your worth comes from who you are, and that doesn't change just because you've created some space. Distance doesn't reduce your value, it amplifies it. By creating space, you also allow yourself to grow. When you're not pouring all your energy into others, you can redirect it toward yourself. You can focus on your passions, goals, and personal well-being. This is a time for reflection, healing, and transformation. As you grow, your confidence and alignment with your purpose increase, making you even more magnetic to the right people and opportunities. It's true. People often don't realize what they have until it's gone. When you're no longer there to answer every call, solve every problem, or fill every silence, they start to feel the void. They notice all the ways you made their lives better and begin to value you more deeply. Creating distance isn't about punishing anyone. It's about protecting yourself. It's about understanding that your time and energy are valuable, and not everyone deserves unlimited access to them. Setting boundaries shows others how to treat you and reminds them that your presence is a privilege, not an entitlement. Creating distance is one of the most empowering steps you can take for yourself. It sends a clear message that you refuse to be overlooked, undervalued, or taken for granted. It's a reminder to others and to yourself that you deserve respect, appreciation, and love. When they finally recognize what they've lost, when they feel the space you left behind, they'll understand just how much you truly matter. Self-respect is the foundation of who you are and what you strive to become. It's the quiet yet powerful force that shapes how you carry yourself, how you interact with others, and how they respond to you. It's not something you can acquire from anyone else. It's something you build within, a personal currency that grows stronger as you honor it. Unlike material wealth, self-respect can't be taken from you unless you give it away. When you possess self-respect, you set a higher standard for yourself. You refuse to settle for less than you deserve, whether in relationships, career opportunities, or personal achievements. You establish boundaries, not out of pride or arrogance, but because you recognize your worth. And when you do this, others take notice. They observe how you treat yourself and learn how to treat you in return. Respect always begins with you. Without self-respect, you risk falling into patterns of exploitation, manipulation, and mistreatment. You might tolerate behaviors and situations that erode your dignity because you don't believe you're worthy of more. You may find yourself saying yes when you want to say no, accepting scraps when you deserve abundance, and staying silent when your voice needs to be heard. But the moment you choose to prioritize self-respect, everything shifts. You begin to see yourself through a clearer lens, one that reflects your inherent value instead of the distorted image others may have tried to impose on you. Self-respect doesn't mean striving for perfection or being free of mistakes. It means embracing your imperfections and owning them rather than letting them define you. It's about standing firm in your truth, even when it's uncomfortable, and refusing to compromise your integrity for approval or acceptance. Your worth is not defined by external validation, but by your unshakable belief in your own value. When you respect yourself, you stop pursuing people who fail to see your worth. You stop going out of your way to prove yourself to those who will never appreciate you. You stop engaging in actions that leave you feeling unfulfilled or diminished. Instead, you focus on creating a life that aligns with your values, aspirations, and sense of purpose. You choose to be around people who lift you up, not those who weigh you down. You dedicate your energy to pursuits that feed your soul rather than drain it. Self-respect also means holding yourself accountable. It's about owning your choices, your actions, and your life as a whole. While it's easy to blame others or play the victim when things go wrong, genuine self-respect comes from acknowledging your role and committing to growth. It's about learning from your mistakes, using those lessons to evolve, and becoming stronger, wiser, and more resilient as a result. When you carry self-respect, it transforms how you present yourself. Your posture becomes more assured, your voice steadier, and your presence commands attention without demanding it. People can sense when someone respects themselves. It's a silent confidence that speaks louder than words. The world naturally responds to that energy. Opportunities arise, relationships improve, and you attract experiences that align with your newfound sense of worth. But self-respect isn't just about how others perceive you. It's about how you perceive yourself. It's about looking in the mirror and appreciating the person you see. It's about knowing that while you're not perfect, you are enough. It's about showing yourself kindness and compassion, especially on days when you fall short of your own expectations. Self-respect isn't about being flawless. It's about being authentic. To build self-respect, you must begin by setting boundaries. Boundaries protect your peace, energy, and sense of self. They aren't about shutting people out. They're about ensuring that the people you let in treat you with care and respect. Setting boundaries can feel uncomfortable, especially if asserting yourself is unfamiliar. But each time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to yourself. And there's nothing more powerful than that. Another powerful way to cultivate self-respect is by honoring your commitments, both to yourself and to others. When you make a promise, keep it. When you set a goal, pursue it with intention. When you say you'll do something, follow through. Every time you honor your word, you reinforce your self-respect by proving to yourself and others that you are reliable and trustworthy. Trust, after all, is the foundation of respect. Self-respect also hinges on self-discipline. It's about choosing to do what's necessary, even when it's inconvenient or difficult, because it aligns with your values and serves your best interests. It's about resisting fleeting temptations that lead to long-term regrets and instead embracing actions that support your growth and goals. It's about making decisions that reflect the person you're striving to become, not the person you've outgrown. Forgiveness is another essential component of self-respect. Holding on to grudges, resentment, or anger doesn't punish those who've wronged you. It only weighs you down. Forgiveness isn't about excusing bad behavior or letting others off the hook. It's about freeing yourself from the grip of bitterness so you can move forward. It's a gift you give to yourself, a way of saying my peace matters more than my pain. Practicing self-respect also involves prioritizing self-care. This means taking care of your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. It's about ensuring you get enough rest, nourish your body, and engage in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. It's understanding that you can't pour from an empty cup, so you take the time to refill it. Self-care isn't selfish. It's essential. When you care for yourself, you build the resilience and strength needed to face life's challenges and support others. One of the hardest but most transformative aspects of self-respect is letting go. Whether it's letting go of people, situations, or habits that no longer serve you. Walking away from the familiar can be painful, even when you know it's the right choice. But self-respect means choosing yourself, even when it's difficult. It's trusting that what you release will make space for something better. Something that aligns with the person you are becoming. Self-respect is a lifelong journey, not a destination. It's cultivated daily through your choices, actions, and mindset. It's not about striving for perfection or having all the answers. It's about showing up for yourself even when it's hard. It's about holding firm to the belief in your worth, regardless of what others think. It's about choosing to love and honor yourself no matter what. Because at its core, self-respect is the most valuable currency you can possess. It will carry you further than anything else ever could. Silence, too, is an often underestimated force. In a world full of noise, distractions, and endless chatter, silence stands apart like a bold statement. It communicates without explanation or justification, and often carries more weight than spoken words. Choosing silence is not a sign of weakness or passivity. It's a deliberate and powerful act. It conveys strength, depth, and restraint in ways that shouting or arguing never can. When you choose silence, you demonstrate control over your emotions and reactions. It shows that you're not driven by the need to defend yourself, prove a point, or retaliate. Silence says, I'm secure in my truth, and I don't need to explain it. It's a way of maintaining your position without engaging in unnecessary conflict. In doing so, you leave others to reflect on their own words and actions, confronting their choices without the distraction of your response. In moments of tension, silence can be more effective than any argument at diffusing conflict. Words often escalate disagreements into full-blown battles, while silence removes the fuel that feeds the fire. By refusing to respond to provocation, you deny others the power to control your emotions. You show that you are grounded and unshakable. That composure is both disarming and intimidating to those seeking to provoke you. They come to realize that they cannot unsettle you, often leaving them to question themselves instead. Silence also grants you the advantage of clarity. When you're not focused on speaking, you can observe, listen, and truly take in your surroundings. You notice details others might overlook, the subtleties in tone, the hesitation in words, or the unspoken tension in a room. Silence sharpens your awareness, allowing you to understand what lies beneath the surface. That insight is often far more valuable than anything you might say. There's a timeless saying that actions speak louder than words, and silence is often the most powerful action you can take. It's a way to demonstrate who you are and what you stand for without needing to explain. Silence says, I don't have to justify myself to you. It declares, I'm confident enough to let my actions speak for themselves. And it conveys, I value my peace more than winning this argument. These unspoken messages often carry far more weight than any words ever could. In relationships, silence can serve as a boundary. It's a way of saying, I won't engage with this behavior without resorting to conflict or lengthy explanations. It's a tool for preserving your energy and refusing to participate in dynamics that leave you drained. When someone mistreats you, silence can often deliver a more powerful message than words spoken in anger or hurt. It communicates disapproval without offering them the satisfaction of a reaction. It demonstrates that you won't lower yourself to their level or participate in the toxicity they're trying to create. Silence is also an act of self-respect. It's a way of asserting, I don't need to prove my worth to anyone. It reflects an understanding of your value and a refusal to expend energy on people or situations that don't deserve it. By choosing silence, you're not relinquishing your power. You're conserving it, using it to reinforce your focus and resolve on what truly matters. In a world where silence is often misinterpreted as weakness, choosing it is an act of profound strength. There's an undeniable intrigue in silence, a mystery that draws others in. By not revealing everything, by not reacting to every provocation, you maintain an aura of unpredictability. People begin to wonder about your thoughts, feelings, or next move. This curiosity can shift the dynamic in your favor, keeping you in control of the narrative and allowing you to define the terms of your interactions. In that unpredictability lies an undeniable power. Silence also provides space for reflection, not just for you, but for others as well. When you don't immediately react to criticism, insults, or negativity, you offer the other person the opportunity to hear their own words. Many times, people speak without fully considering their meaning. Silence forces them to sit with their own statements, to reflect on their behavior without the distraction of your response. This pause can spark growth both for them and for your relationship. In professional environments, silence can be a tool of influence and authority. Remaining silent in discussions or meetings often makes people pay closer attention when you do choose to speak. Your words carry more weight because they're not lost in a flood of unnecessary commentary. Silence also gives you the opportunity to think, to carefully craft your thoughts, and to ensure that what you say is deliberate and impactful. It's a way to command respect without demanding it, and to assert your presence without overshadowing others. During moments of conflict or uncertainty, silence offers clarity. It allows you to step back, detach from the noise, and tune into your own intuition. Often, it's in these quiet moments that you find the answers you're seeking. Silence creates the space you need to process your thoughts, understand your needs, and determine the best course of action. Silence can also be a source of resilience in the face of adversity. When others try to undermine you, doubt you, or criticize you, your silence can be a statement of inner strength. It says, "I don't need to defend myself. I know who I am." It's a way to stand firm in your truth and refuse to be shaken by external opinions. In doing so, you may inspire others to embrace the same quiet confidence. Choosing silence doesn't mean silencing your voice or hiding your truth. It's about understanding when to speak and when to remain quiet. It's about using your words with intention rather than reacting impulsively. It's about recognizing that sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. When used thoughtfully, silence can have a greater impact than the loudest proclamation. It teaches patience, the ability to sit with discomfort, to resist the urge to fill every moment with noise or action. It fosters trust in the power of time, allowing things to unfold naturally rather than forcing outcomes. Through patience, you gain wisdom. You begin to understand that not every situation demands a response, not every battle is worth fighting, and sometimes the best course of action is to simply let things be. Silence serves as a reminder of your inner strength. It's a way of saying, "I don't need to prove myself to anyone." It reflects an understanding of your worth and a decision to conserve your energy for people and situations that truly matter. When you choose silence, you're not surrendering your power. You're safeguarding it, using it to build your resolve and focus on what's important. Silence isn't a sign of indifference. It doesn't mean you're ignoring what's happening or that you don't care. Instead, it signifies a choice to act with thoughtfulness, self-control, and intention. It's about rising above the noise, staying anchored in your truth, and allowing your actions to speak on your behalf. Because silence isn't merely the absence of words. It's the presence of strength, wisdom, and purpose. Trying to win someone's attention can feel like a never-ending struggle. You invest your time, energy, and emotions into being noticed, appreciated, or valued, only to find that the harder you try, the less it seems to work. There's a reason for this. Attention that is coerced is never authentic, and relationships built on the need to chase acknowledgement are often one-sided and unsustainable. The truth is, you should never have to fight for someone's attention. When connection is genuine, it flows effortlessly, without manipulation, without games, and without sacrificing your self-worth. When you fight for attention, you're sending an unspoken message to both yourself and the other person that you don't believe you're enough as you are. It's a quiet act of self-doubt, a belief that you must do more or be more to earn someone's care or time. But the truth is, no amount of effort can make someone value you if they choose not to. The more you push, the more it drains you, leaving you feeling unfulfilled and depleted. True connection is built on mutual respect and appreciation. When someone genuinely values you, they recognize your worth without you having to shout it from the rooftops. They make an effort because they want to, not because you've demanded it. Their attention isn't something you need to struggle for. It's freely given because they see your significance in their life. This kind of attention, natural, sincere, and meaningful, is the only kind worth having. By letting go of the fight for attention, you reclaim your personal power. You detach your sense of self-worth from someone else's acknowledgement and begin to focus inward. Instead of trying to prove your value to others, you recognize it within yourself. You invest your energy in pursuits that nourish you, align with your values, and contribute to your growth. Gradually, you become less concerned with how others perceive you and more focused on your own opinion of yourself. This shift attracts the right kind of attention, the kind that doesn't require you to compromise who you are. Confidence, authenticity, and self-assurance are inherently magnetic. When you stop chasing external validation and start prioritizing your own well-being, you radiate an energy that draws others in. People notice when you're no longer trying too hard, when you're comfortable with who you are, and when your focus is on your own happiness and progress. Ironically, the moment you stop forcing someone to see you, you often become impossible to ignore. Fighting for attention often leads to frustration and resentment. You may find yourself questioning why someone doesn't reciprocate your efforts, why they don't seem to value you, or why they're unwilling to meet you halfway. This imbalance can breed toxicity, turning the relationship into a dynamic where one person constantly gives and the other only takes. Letting go of the need to fight for attention frees you from this exhausting cycle. It allows you to step away from one-sided relationships and create space for connections that are mutual and fulfilling. Letting attention come naturally doesn't mean you stop caring about relationships. It means you understand that meaningful connections can't be forced. It's about trusting that the right people will see your worth without you having to fight for it. This approach fosters relationships based on mutual respect and effort rather than control or manipulation. When you stop chasing attention, you also gain clarity about the people in your life. You begin to recognize who truly values you and who doesn't, and that awareness empowers you to build healthier, more balanced connections. The people who truly care will make an effort to stay connected, check in on you, and prioritize you. They won't need constant reminders or grand gestures to show their care. Their attention will be consistent, meaningful, and steady. Conversely, those who don't value you will naturally drift away, and that's okay. This isn't a reflection of your worth. It simply means they weren't meant to play a role in your life. Fighting for attention often blinds you to the people who are already there for you. When you're fixated on chasing someone who doesn't reciprocate, you risk overlooking the relationships that are solid, supportive, and genuine. You might take for granted the people who already see your value because you're too focused on proving it to someone else. But when you release the need to fight for attention, you can truly appreciate the connections you already have. You can nurture and grow those relationships rather than exhausting yourself chasing something that's not meant for you. Allowing attention to come naturally is also an act of self-care. It's about protecting your energy and refusing to waste it on people who don't value it. It's about setting boundaries and distancing yourself from relationships that drain you or make you feel less. It's a decision to prioritize your well-being and refuse to sacrifice it for the sake of someone else's approval. By doing so, you create space for healthier, more fulfilling connections to enter your life. Letting go of the need to fight for attention also gives you the freedom to grow. It allows you to focus on your own path, your own goals, and your own happiness. You invest in yourself, in your passions, dreams, and personal development. With this growth comes greater confidence, self-assurance, and fulfillment. That growth is magnetic, not just to others, but to yourself. You begin to see your own value more clearly, and that clarity becomes a guiding force in your life. It's crucial to remember that attention isn't the same as love, and chasing attention doesn't equate to building meaningful relationships. Love is rooted in connection, understanding, and mutual respect. It's about being seen and appreciated for who you are, not for what you can do or how hard you try to gain approval. By letting go of the need to chase attention, you open yourself to the possibility of real love. Love that doesn't demand you prove your worth or constantly seek validation. Choosing to let attention come naturally is a courageous act. It requires trusting yourself, trusting the process, and believing that the right people will find their way into your life. It's about letting go of control and embracing the truth that you are enough, just as you are. Your worth isn't determined by someone else's acknowledgement, but by your own belief in yourself. When you stop chasing attention, you also free yourself from a scarcity mindset. You stop believing that love, connection, or validation is something you must fight for, something limited or hard to come by. Instead, you realize these things are abundant and flow naturally when you live authentically and honor your worth. This mindset attracts people and opportunities that align with your values, goals, and sense of self. Allowing attention to come naturally liberates you. It removes the pressure to prove yourself, compete for someone's affection, or measure your worth by someone else's standards. It enables you to focus on what truly matters: your own growth, happiness, and the relationships that nourish you. In doing so, you create a life that is not only fulfilling but also aligned with who you are and who you aspire to become. You are not here to chase. You are not here to beg for attention, approval, or love. You are not here to diminish yourself just to be noticed or valued by someone else. You are here to be chosen, not because you fought for recognition, but because your presence naturally commands it, and your value speaks for itself. Chasing someone, whether for love, friendship, or validation, stems from the belief that you need to prove your worth to earn their attention. It's a mindset that chips away at your confidence and self-respect, reducing relationships to transactions rather than meaningful connections. When you chase, you inadvertently tell yourself and others that you are incomplete, that your value depends on their ability to see it. In trying to convince others of your worth, you forget that your value is inherent and doesn't need validation. The truth is, you are already enough. You always have been. When you fully embrace this truth, you realize that being chosen isn't about competing for recognition. It's about standing confidently in your authenticity and allowing the right people to find their way to you. Chasing someone often conveys a sense of desperation, and desperation rarely earns respect. When you chase, you may find yourself constantly going out of your way to please others, compromising your boundaries, and gradually losing touch with who you are. The effort to gain their favor can consume you, leaving your spirit drained. When you shift your perspective and let go of the need to chase, you reclaim your peace and dignity. You free yourself from the exhausting cycle of trying to force what should naturally align with you. Being chosen is not about relentless effort. It's about a mutual connection that flows from alignment rather than strain. Being chosen isn't about outshining others in a competitive way. It's about standing firmly in your authenticity, and allowing the right people to see and appreciate you for who you truly are. When you chase, you risk projecting a version of yourself shaped to please others rather than staying rooted in your true essence. Letting go of the chase allows you to embrace your authenticity, flaws, strengths, and everything in between. It is this genuineness that draws in the right people, opportunities, and relationships. Chasing often creates an imbalance in relationships. The person being pursued holds all the power, leaving you in a constant struggle to prove your worth. This dynamic can leave you feeling undervalued and unappreciated, as though you're the only one keeping the relationship afloat. Healthy relationships, however, should never feel one-sided. They thrive on mutual effort, respect, and shared connection. When you stop chasing, you make room for relationships that are balanced and fulfilling, where both people invest equally in each other's well-being. Chasing also has a way of clouding your judgment. You can become so focused on winning someone over that you overlook red flags, ignore your own needs, and settle for less than you deserve. The desire to make them choose you can blind you to the reality of the situation. By stepping back and letting go, you gain a clearer perspective. You begin to see people for who they truly are, not just who you hope they could be. Instead of pouring energy into proving your worth, you evaluate whether they genuinely add value to your life. When you understand that you're here to be chosen, not to chase, you start living with intention. You stop wasting your energy on people or situations that don't align with your values or vision for your life. You become more discerning about who you allow into your space, recognizing that your time and energy are precious and deserve to be respected. This mindset shift not only protects your inner peace, but also strengthens your sense of self-worth. Being chosen means someone values you without needing constant persuasion. They appreciate you for who you are, not for what you can do for them. They make an effort because they truly care, not because you've pressured or convinced them to. These genuine connections are rare but worth waiting for. When you stop chasing, you open yourself up to being chosen by someone who truly sees and values you. Such relationships feel effortless, natural, and deeply rewarding. Chasing often leads to a frustrating cycle of unmet expectations. Despite your best efforts, it can feel like you're never enough. You start doubting yourself, wondering why the other person can't see your worth or what more you could do. But the truth is, this isn't about you. It's about them, their inability to recognize or appreciate what you bring to the table. When you stop chasing, you free yourself from this cycle of frustration. You stop seeking validation from others and begin finding it within yourself. You trust that the right people will come into your life at the right time, without the need for relentless pursuit. Being chosen isn't about convincing someone to see your value. It's about them recognizing it on their own, seeing something in you that resonates with them, something that aligns with their own values and aspirations. These connections, rooted in authenticity and mutual respect, form strong and enduring bonds. They are partnerships, not pursuits, and that's what makes them so powerful. Choosing to stop chasing and allowing yourself to be chosen is an act of self-love. It's a declaration that you are enough, not because of what you do for others, but because of who you are. It's a commitment to honoring your own needs, values, and boundaries, even if it means walking away from situations that no longer serve you. It's a reminder that the right people will see your worth without requiring you to compromise or diminish yourself. Being chosen doesn't mean sitting back and waiting for life to happen. It means embracing your passions, pursuing your growth, and living as the best version of yourself. It's about prioritizing your happiness and well-being over the need for external validation. By focusing on your own journey, you naturally draw in people and opportunities that align with your energy and aspirations. When you stop chasing and let yourself be chosen, your relationships transform. They become lighter, more authentic, and deeply fulfilling. You no longer feel the pressure to constantly prove your worth or earn someone's affection. Instead, you can simply exist as your true self, confident that the right people will appreciate you for who you genuinely are. This freedom is priceless. Chasing often stems from fear. Fear of being alone, fear of inadequacy, or fear of missing out. But when you shift your perspective to one of being chosen, you release that fear. You begin to trust that what's meant for you will find its way to you, and you find peace in knowing you don't need to force or manipulate outcomes. This shift cultivates confidence and assurance. You understand that you are deserving of love, respect, and meaningful connections. And this isn't limited to romantic relationships. It applies to all aspects of your life. It's about being chosen by friends who value you, by opportunities that resonate with your goals, and by a life that reflects your authentic self. When you stop chasing, you create the space for these things to flow into your life. You stop settling for less than you deserve and begin attracting what genuinely aligns with your spirit. The journey to being chosen begins with choosing yourself. It's about recognizing your inherent worth, setting boundaries, and living in alignment with your truth. It means letting go of the chase and embracing the belief that you are already enough. In doing so, you craft a life that is fulfilling and fully aligned with your values and desires. You are not here to chase. You never were. Being chosen starts with the profound understanding that your worth is innate. It doesn't depend on anyone else's recognition or approval. Chasing validation or affection from others diminishes your power and chips away at your self-respect. It sends a message to yourself and the world that you are incomplete, that your value depends on external affirmation. But this couldn't be further from the truth. The moment you accept that your worth isn't something to be proven or earned through pursuit, everything shifts. In relationships, romantic, platonic, or professional, chasing disturbs the natural balance of mutual effort and respect. It places all the power in the hands of the one being pursued, leaving you constantly striving to prove yourself. This dynamic is neither love nor respect. It's a one-sided struggle that drains your energy and erodes your confidence. When you stop chasing, you reclaim your time, energy, and dignity. You set boundaries that silently communicate your worth. You allow space for mutual, genuine connections to develop. Chasing also blinds you to your own needs and values. In the pursuit of someone else's attention, you risk silencing your voice and losing sight of what truly matters to you. By stepping away from the chase, you regain clarity. You refocus on what's most important: your growth, happiness, and peace. You stop settling for relationships or situations that drain you and instead open yourself to ones that uplift you and align with your values. Being chosen is not about passivity. It's about standing confidently in your authenticity and letting the right people be drawn to you. It's about living a life so full, so rich in purpose and joy that others can't help but notice. It's about choosing yourself first, setting the standard for how others should treat you. Never settle for less than you deserve. Let them feel your absence and watch how everything shifts. Your absence speaks louder than your presence ever could. And when they realize what they've lost, you'll already have grown into someone they can't afford to lose. Here's the truth. The moment you stop chasing, you start rising. When you step back, give yourself space, and focus on your own well-being, the world begins to take notice. And when you take a step back, people will begin to understand just how much they've overlooked you. Your value will become undeniable. Your time is your most precious resource. It's the one thing in life that once gone can never be reclaimed. Yet so many people give it away without a second thought, as if it holds no value. The reality is, others will treat your time based on how you treat it. If you're always available, constantly saying yes, they'll start to see your time as insignificant. They'll assume you have nothing better to do than cater to their needs. But that's not who you are. The best thing you can do for yourself and for them is to take that step back. In that space, growth happens. You grow by reclaiming your energy and focusing on your needs. They grow by learning to appreciate you in ways they never did before.